I'm talking to you today because I feel such a sense of urgency to start having a dialogue with you guys about our next steps. So the issue being climate crisis and political crisis and sort of neo-Nazi crisis and just crisis in general, really. The thing is, we are so extraordinarily capable of doing dramatic, magical, radical changes to how we do business, to how we meet one another, to how we make decisions as a community, as an extended community. And all we're doing is letting politicians vacillate and argue, bicker like children, worse than children, about who's right, who's wrong, who did something wrong in the past, who not to trust. And with all of that kind of coalescing, how on earth are we meant to create a sustainable society? So I am planning with some other friends, colleagues and friends, a roundtable in London on June 18th. And I want to hear from you what your ideas are for how we move forward. How do we create processes by which we get our government, the UK government, and whichever government you are suffering through right now, to show up in ways that they become fully accountable, they become trackable, they understand that they were given a job, a position to take care of us. That's their only job, is to take care of us. And all they're doing, as far as I can see, is taking care of themselves. They're worried about losing their jobs. They're worried about losing their subsidies in terms of lobbyists and the people who pay them to do them favors. And they've really lost sight. They've lost sight of what matters. They've lost sight of how the planet matters. They've lost sight of how well-being matters. They've lost sight of how our health matters, of how us, the public, being engaged, being involved, being included, being important matters. So this roundtable is going to explore in a very real and experimental way how we're going to create processes, how we're going to create the structures. What kinds of structures do we want to create? Public forums, citizens' assemblies or people's assemblies, direct action, as with Extinction Rebellion, non-violent direct action. Like, we don't want to have to get violent in order to create a peaceful society. That's just ironic, and it doesn't work. It's not a sustainable solution. So however we approach the social change, that actually has to have in it the ingredients for the social change that we now want to live into, live through, live with. So what do you think? You know, we've got like less time, fashionably small amounts of time. We've got a window of at the most 10 years to do a sensible, radical change. And there's so much evidence that shows us this as a fact. And we've allowed, some through ignorance and some through apathy, we've allowed the fossil fuel industry to lie to us, to lie to all of us, to create ridiculous, fantastical debates about whether climate crisis is even real. I mean, it's worse than a really bad movie. And yet we're the ones living in it. We're the ones living with the results of that. And I've got like, I'm going to be a great, what am I going to be? A great aunt to somebody who's due this weekend, a new young girl coming into the world. She's going to be growing up into a world that is going to be ostensibly hostile unless we act, unless the public takes over. And that's what we all do now. Government, they're this machine, this sort of dinosaur that is just incapable of moving at the speed and adeptness and intelligence and creativity and social innovation that we now need to bring forward. So June 18th, roundtable, you can communicate with me through my website, which is clairehedin.com. You can also go to dynamicemergence.net, and through either of those websites, you can email me and let's start talking. And let's start seeing how we can create hubs of innovation like this around the country. Maybe we'll create some kind of process that can work elsewhere in other countries, in the rest of Europe or around the world. Let's not wait. We don't have the time. We've got 10 years. The UK government has declared a climate emergency and they've done absolutely nothing about it since. So it's like, oh, well, we'll just say there's a climate emergency and then we'll do nothing and hope it will go, because there's men public that think we're moving fast enough, that can't see the terrifying future that is coming our way, that we are actually making happen. It's not like it's some accident that came from outer space. This is us, the humans, catastrophically disaffecting our capacity to actually live on this planet. They would rather argue about the politics. I would not rather argue about the politics. I would rather get on with designing with you the right kind of future that has love, peace, harmony, sustainability, health and wellness, beauty, relationship, right relationship to our indigenous people, to the arts, to each other. You know, God Almighty, we're only here because we know how to do this. Humans are designed to be so intelligent. So let's use that intelligence to bring back the power. We have the power in us. It's built into us. It's how we're designed. It's our job to really realize that power. We can do it together. And I'm really happy to do it with you. So please get in touch. Be aware of June 18th in the evening, and let's see what happens next. Okay. But we have to actually start now using this 6 months that the UK government has been given to create a plan for reducing carbon emissions and God knows everything else that we're doing wrong, including plastic, single-use plastic pollution. We've got 6 months. We need to present that to the government so that if they've come up with absolutely nothing by the end of 6 months, which I feel is worth putting a bet on, quite a big one, because so far they've shown no intelligent behaviors around this. So we have to show them what that looks like. It seems like we have to spoon feed what that looks like into them. And if they can't even, then just simply take over. So much love, blessings, peace and harmony, conviction, action, and non-violent interruption of this political apathy. We can do this. We can show people what it looks like. We can show the politicians what it looks like. Let's show up. Let's get this done. Let's get it done now. We've got 6 months and then we've got 10 years. That 6 months is part of the 10 years. So it's not 10 years and 6 months. It's 10 years with 6 months in it. Okay, then. Thank you very much. I love you. Be intelligent, be creative, be smart, be active, be non-violent. Peace.